A little bit further into the Kleki project, and I would like to actually go into something that we have some familiarity with, and that's our colored pencil projects that we did last year or last semester. Now, I know some of you guys did not do this project because you didn't have me for drawing, but all you need to do is just photograph your legs in this or from this position. All right, some of you guys might still have your photo from last year, or you just want to do another one, feel free to do it. Again, the legs, the fabric on the legs is what we're really trying to get into as far as the painting of the project. I did it with you guys with colored pencil, but I also did it with the drawing and painting classes. And here's the example that I did last year or last semester with the drawing and painting classes. And you can see it was done with acrylics, okay? And we have this background of text. So we're going to take the similarity to this project and then just translate that into something that we can do with Kleki. So what you need to do, work from a photograph that you have of your legs with some fabric, some pants on. Again, if you don't have any contours in the fabric, it's not going to really look interesting. If you're just doing it in, sweatpants or, well, I mean like yoga pants, they're too tight. All they are going to do is just show the forms of the legs. If you want to do it wearing a pair of shorts, maybe the shorts come down below the knee or at the knee, and then you could do the painting of the skin tones and the shoes, or flip-flops, or however you want to do it. This is the position that you want to work with from the photograph. Okay, so I have this photograph as well as the background. So what I did to get the background was I found this old German book that we have in the house. I don't know really what it says, but it had some really cool artwork in it. And I photographed just this page of text, and then I'm going to use that as my background. And in Kleki, what you're going to do is you're going to work in layers. All right, so in a folder on my computer, I've got my photo of my legs here. I've got the document that I photographed, and these are going to go into Kleki as layers. We need to create a new document. All right, so over here next to where it says Kleki, if I'm going to click on this new image, okay, I need to set it up as a portrait, and then I want to double the pixel ratio. So I'm going to highlight this, change it to 920 and 1226. So I just doubled the numbers that were there as the default setting, and that gives me a vertical format. Now, I want this layer to be transparent because this is going to be my working layer. This is going to be the layer that I paint on. Right now, right here, you can see it's selected as white. I'm going to click on the transparent layer right there, and it's still selected as portrait. I'm going to click OK. That gives me a blank layer. If I zoom out here with the minus, you can see at 50%, gives me a blank layer. Now, I want to add my two other images as layers. So right over here where it says import image, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to import my color pencil legs. So I'll select that and click open. Now it's going to ask me, do I want to import the image as an image or as a layer? I want to import it as a layer. So click on layer, then adjust it to fit. I want to move it up so that the cutoff part of the legs is even with the top of the photo there. And it looks pretty good left to right, so I'm going to maybe just move it a little bit to the right, maybe not. Okay, so that's set. Now I click OK. Now you can see that puts it in as another layer. You can see right here I got layer 1, which is the first one we created, and layer 2, which is the photograph layer. My photograph is at school, so I ended up using the photograph I had of the colored pencil drawing. Now I want to add the third layer, in this case, which is going to be the base layer, which is going to be the book page. Click open. Click on as layer. I'm going to enlarge it so that it fills the space all the way around. And then I'm going to click OK. And now you can see I've got layer 3, layer 2, and layer 1. Now I want to work on top of layer 1. So I'm going to click on layer 1 and I'm going to move that to the top. I'm going to click on layer 2 and move that above layer 1, or below layer 1, above layer 3. And you could see how when you're on a certain layer, it highlights that layer. It's got a little blue line around it. I want to work on layer 1 and I want to paint on layer 1 while I can still see layer 2, which is my reference. My contour references where the folds and creases are going to go. I want to just slightly lower the opacity of layer 2. So right here where you can see the slider underneath the 100%, you can see if I slide it down, it becomes transparent. So I'm going to leave it at about a 50, 54. And layer 3, I don't want that to be visible at all right now. So I'm going to slide that all the way down to 0. So this is the area that I'm going to start painting on top of. Okay? That's going to come right now as we start the setup. So the first thing you got to do is come back over here. I'm on layer 1, which is the transparent layer. I'm going to click on brush. Now, I'm suggesting that you draw in the contours of the fabric before you start painting, just to give you an idea as to where and how. I'm not going to draw with black. What I suggest you do is, since I'm using denim, I've got blue, I'm going to come over here to my color palette slider, and I'm going to click somewhere in the denim color range. Okay, this middle blue, true blue color. And you can see I've got the tints and shades of that blue in this area. So I'm going to use a dark blue. Even though some edges might have highlights, the paint's going to cover them. So I'm going to click down here in the dark colors, right? You can see the little circle right there. Shows me where and how I'm going to be with that color. I've got this brush, which is the basic brush, and it's at a size 4. So I want to just double check to see how big a size 4 is. I'm going to enlarge by clicking on the plus and then move it down so I can start from the top by using the hand. I'll come back to my brush, and if I draw a line with the brush at a size 4, I can see that that's a pretty good way to set things up. All right, so I'm going to remove that line by just coming over here and clicking on the back arrow, and I'm going to start to draw all the way around the contours of my leg. Some of the contours are tough to see, so I'm going to bring the opacity up just a little bit while I'm doing this, and you can see it's still, I can still see my pencil lines. So I go back over here and I continue to draw the contours. This is going to take some time, so just allow yourself the opportunity to get down the edges of separation really, really well. Again, I'm just pretty much tracing over, and it may feel a little bit awkward starting off with this, drawing with your mouse, and it can be. As you go with it, it'll start to make a little bit more sense drawing with your mouse. If you're drawing with a touchpad, that can be more difficult. If you have a wireless mouse, or if you have a plug-in mouse that you can plug into the computer and draw on top of a mouse pad, which is exactly what I'm doing, makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so if you have a mouse that you can plug in to use, it's definitely going to be a little bit simpler than trying to use the trackpad. All right, so I'm going to continue to draw in some of the contour edges of separation. I'm not going to get too detailed with this because this is really just going to give me a little bit. I'm still going to have the drawing or the photo as reference as I start painting, but I still just need to see where the major edges of separation are so I know where to put the paints in. All right, so I got most of the top part done. Now I'm going to move it down with the hand, and I'm going to start the bottom half of the legs. Oops, made a mistake there, got a little bit too big, so just go back, undo the last line. All right, now you might have seen that warning pop up to save. It's a good idea. I've done a good amount of work so far, and I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to get up, before I start drawing the sneakers, I'm going to finish up a few of these contours here. To save, all I have to do is go up to download, or right here, file, save. See, it says no auto saving available. I'm going to click save, and I'm just going to save it. It actually downloaded it. So all I have to do is just come over here in Kleki and click on import, and then I can just go to my desktop and import the piece. I want to make this a little bit thinner. So I'll come back here to my brush. I'm going to bring the size down a little bit, down to a 2, and I'm going to change the color down to a light gray. Okay, because again, down here you can see I got a really pale gray. So I'm going to do the shoes, since they're black, I'm going to do the shoes with a light gray line. And then obviously the paint is going to cover some of this, right? But again, using the mouse, I'm able to trace along the edge of separation between the colors. Gray will allow me to cover over it with the black and the white paint. Just make it a little bit easier, okay? I don't have to worry too much in this case, but I do want to get the details of the laces. Now, as I paint them, they're going to look a lot different as a brush stroke. So I'm just really trying to get the basic dark shapes, right? Where in between the laces. So you can see I'm just kind of tracing the dark black shapes where the laces in this case, because the laces are white. We go, move that over. But if you look at the finished one here, right, you can see it's very similar. I do have some gray in there with the brush stroke, with the black and the gray. So the details in the shoe are just going to have a little bit of different look when we get to the final. So I'm going to finish outlining this shoe in a time lapse, and then I'll show you the next demo, which is going to be the painting. This part of the assignment should be the 2 days in between our next 2 classes. So this should take, do not start painting, just do the line drawing, and I want to see the line drawing posted. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this demo. All right, so here's my line drawing. Obviously, there's a couple other contours that I could come back in up here in the legs and work on developing. But what I want you to see is what you're going to turn in. So I want you to get as far as the line drawing, and then if I come back to my layers here, I'm going to make layer 2 completely invisible. And now I can see my line drawing. All right, right here I can see I got to go back in. I got to touch up and add some more of the outlines in those areas. So I'm going to do that. You can also see that even though I use that light gray on the shoes, it's hard to see with the transparent quality of it. But if I zoom in, I can see the gray for the shoes. Obviously, when we go to paint, you'll have this image in there, so you'll be able to see it. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to get to the line drawing. Bring the transparency down on the photograph down to 30, right there. Then that gives me everything that I need to grade or to see that you're on the right track for the first part of the project. It's just going to be a quick grade on the line drawing to see that you have the contours. You're going to need to check back in Canvas to see if I left you any comments on adjusting the line drawing or whatever. So once I have my line drawing done, I'm going to come over to File, and I'm going to click Save, and it's going to download. So if I open up that download, this is what I'll see. Okay, you can see the white background, and I can see the line drawing, and I can see the shoes. It didn't maintain that transparent quality. This is what you're going to turn in at the end of the 2 class periods that you have this week. So this will be due on Thursday by the end of the day, just the line drawing. Do not start painting yet. That will be your next demonstration that I'll post on Thursday. All right? Good luck, guys. Any questions, reach out to me, let me know.